going on? Coach William Grazione here. Sorry I don't have my whiteboard this morning. I actually just left my office at the house and I'm headed to the airport, headed out to LA this morning. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to answer, this is going to be part 4 of the 1200 calorie video series. And in this one, it's going to be answering the big question, when do you know you're ready to diet? You know, if you have fully committed to a reverse diet for a prolonged period of time, like when do you know you're ready for fat loss? And this is a question that I've gotten asked so many times, and from a real world perspective, this is oftentimes the first question that either if you're a coach, your clients, or if you're a client, you're probably going to ask your coach. And it's, well, I get that I'm committing to this phase of health, but how long do I actually have to stay in that phase of health before I can actually go on and have this miraculous fat loss change? Now, there's a couple things that I would urge you guys to consider, and the time of which you need to commit to the reverse is very, very individual, but this is what I can tell you, is that if you have age on your side, so if you are a young individual and you haven't had the opportunity to really cause that much damage to yourself, I would say you could probably get away with like 6 months or so, okay? But again, guys, I've trialed and errored 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12-month periods. The most aggressive I've ever had to go, and I don't even want to say aggressive because it's not aggressive, it's actually helping the person. Like, eating more food is helping you, okay, is 18 months, and that's the longest I've had to go. But at the same time, on the other end of the coin, I'd say 6 months is about the average. So the way that I really got into this was, when I first started coaching back in like 2010, I used to think that, having people reverse diet out of this, this low calorie hell that they were in for 3 months was a sufficient amount of time. But what I realized, when I started to really accumulate the wins and the losses, 3 months just was not enough time. So therefore I pull back and I say, I'm not doing 3 months any longer. I don't care what anybody says. I'm standing my ground. They need more than 3 months. Because the thing is when you're a new coach and you're not confident, you're going to question yourself. You're going to question your method. You're going to, in most cases, kind of maybe even allow the client to kind of push you around a little bit, depending on if they're really like assertive client or not. But the thing is that you have to commit, because at the end of the day, their health is the most important thing, and their results are the most important thing to you. Their results speak for your business. So what I had to do was I had to say 6 months, nothing less ever. And my win to loss ratio really started to improve. So what do I do from there? Well, I go, all right, my win-loss ratio is improving. Let's go ahead and commit to 9 months and let's see what really happens here. And, I'd say between like 6 and 12 months, the majority of the negative physiological adaptations from being calorically restricted can be reversed. Now, I will also say this. There are a lot of hormonal fluctuations that can happen when you calorically restrict yourself for a long period of time. So if you happen to be in a very, very bad position where you're eating extremely low calories, like, we've had clients that have only eaten like an apple a day, clients who were like less than 700 calories a day, clients who are doing 3-4 hours of cardio a day. In most cases, when you're dealing with people like that, you could probably expect some hormonal irregularities. And I would highly recommend potentially getting some blood work done on those clients, just to, in essence, help them have a better understanding of the real reality that they are extremely metabolically adapted and their hormones have actually taken a huge hit just because they've been under eating for so long. So with regards to how long to commit, this is the system that I really like to use. And the way that it actually works is like a trial and error thing. So when you've dieted a client for long-term parking, when you've dieted a client, or if a client has dieted for an extensive period of time, I'd highly recommend starting off with at least 6 months. Now, keep in mind, this is 6 months once you have reached this land of health that I'd probably call like your energy balance, or like an improved energy balance. after the caloric deficit or
touch screen for ticket.
Okay. Thanks, guys. But so this is after that. So this is, you've reached, I guess you'd say you've reached this new area where there's higher calories being implemented and they are at energy balance. Okay. So they're healthy now, right? They are in a land where they can thrive and they can be healthy. So how long do we keep them there? 6 months. However, based off of the circumstances that we just talked about, whether it be super extreme diets, whether it be anything, whatever it is, there are times where you can trial a fat loss phase. So if, let's just say, for instance, you got this client up to like 1,800 to 2,000 calories. Now, for the sake of this video and for very easy to understand application, let's say you got this client up to 2,000 calories a day and she's doing minimal amounts of cardio, which in most cases would be amazing for so many people. You get her up to that point, okay? And then what you do is you take her into a moderate caloric deficit. So let's say that moderate caloric deficit is, let's just say 400 calories ballpark. You take her up to that and you have her check her weight, obviously just in a fasted state, just like normal, controlling all the variables, making sure that she is on top of her A game with tracking her sleep, reducing stress, working out, everything that she's supposed to be doing on her end. Make sure that all those variables are sewed up nice and neat. And then after that, you know, you would run the caloric deficit for about a week and you want to see what happens. Now, in most cases, what I see is that there's either going to be one of two things that happen. The first one is going to be magic, and it's going to be, oh, client lost weight, right? Client lost like a pound and a half, which in most cases, that would be a great sign that the client's ready for fat loss. However, there's also something else that can happen. And the other thing that can happen is zero happens. So they don't lose weight. Sometimes they'll even gain weight. And this is like the first sign that that client's not ready for fat loss yet, because their body's still restrictive. Their body still senses that stress. It still senses the famine. So what I would do is I would never extend that out more than maybe 3 weeks. You know, you can trial and error that fat loss phase for about 2 to 3 weeks, but by that point in time, you're going to be able to tell whether or not they're ready for fat loss or not. The biggest mistake that I see, especially with a lot of coaches who are coming into the space, or new coaches, or people that are fearful of commitment for that long, is that they will commit to a reverse for like 2 months, 3 months, and they'll immediately cut their calories to try to lose fat because they think everything that they've done has been reversed, and it's not true. If you've dieted for 10 years before you hire us or before you hire anybody, chances are it's going to be a long road to try to reverse all of those adaptations. So this is a video that I want you guys to think about. I want you guys to really take that information and just understand that consistency, more importantly, patience over the course of time, is the thing that's really going to help you get your health back. All right, guys, that's it for me this morning. We're going on 8.5 minutes. I just got to the airport. Don't want to miss my flight. Much love, guys. Coach Will, and I'm out. Bye.